opinion, there's a huge difference between being really good at what you do and having a passion for your work and then being an industry leader. And I invited somebody to come talk to us today who I truly believe has become an industry leader. And he's going to share a little bit of what's happened to help him grow into being a trusted authority and being someone who really has a lot on the ball. Hi, it's Melanie Benson here. I'm America's leading small business optimizer. And this is a weekly podcast where I like to bring to you the insights, the strategies, the tips that are going to help you make your business perform better and in the process, make you a better business owner. Now, my guest here today is Fred Arnold, and he's an industry leader and seasoned veteran in the areas of mortgage lending and public speaking. His belief is that if you help enough people get what they want out of life, then you will always achieve your goals and dreams. And I have to tell you, I have known Fred for quite a long time. As a matter of fact, I think I met you when you were speaking, didn't I?
Probably 99 or sooner.
Oh, no, wait. Actually, no, it wasn't when you were speaking. This is how we met. We were at an event together. Mm-hmm. And the next thing I know, Fred's called me and asked me to go to lunch. And he's secretly interviewing me to be his coach. And after a while, I'm like, I don't think this is just a get to know you lunch.
Yeah, it was a big building. We're in LA. And I figured if I'm going to be in this meeting, I'm going to meet some interesting people. And I did, because we were taking a couple hours of our afternoon off. And you were sitting on one side of me, and it was, I think, Yasuhiko's group. So it was, it's great.
Well, I have to say, knowing you has been one of the highlights of my journey as an entrepreneur. You are such an amazing leader, and you are somebody who I truly believe you are setting the pace for people who are born to serve. You are born to serve, and you are such an extraordinary example in that way. So
thank you.
I would love to have people just learn a little bit about what business you are in, and then we'll dig a little bit deeper into how you've become so good at becoming an industry leader. So let's talk about where you're at.
Absolutely. So I'm in a mortgage business, and I help people get home loans for their houses. Now, but I don't really see it that way. I'm in the business of relationships. I'm in the business of creating relationships. I'm in the business of helping other people. I'm in the business of marketing. I'm in the business of promotion of our business. It's not just the mortgage product. And we produce a very high quality mortgage product. We'll talk about that later because of our team. Not because of Fred Arnold, but because of our team and who we've assembled. But we're in the business to help others achieve something in life. And I think no matter what your business is, no matter what you're doing today, whether you're building a manufacturing company, whether you're in the service industry, whether you're a speaker, whether you're a writer, an author, you're in the business to serve other people in some way and build relationships. And I know one of the questions you're going to ask me is about one of the aha moments is when I figured out really simple that I'm in a business to serve others in an authentic way is when everything else just went away. So I'm in the mortgage business. I've been doing it for 24 years in just a few days. I've loved it, and it's been a passion. There's been some hard times, and Melanie is my coach. You know how we grew so many times. And how we started with a real small group, and now we're up to 21 or 22 people. It changes because we're always hiring new people. And there's been ups and downs. But when I learned that we needed to be in the business of serving others and being beyond who we are and who we were and what we knew, being beyond that is when my life changed. So there you go, a little bit. I'm very involved in the community. I have 4 children, Alex, Jack, Amy, and Katie, 2 in college and 2 younger ones. That's my life. And I have great people here that I work with. So there's a little bit about myself.
I love it. And, it's interesting. You're actually in multiple businesses. Not only are you in the mortgage business, but you're in the speaking business, and you're in what I would consider the leadership business. And I think, I'll just put this out there for you, but I'd love to have you talk a little bit about it, is I think one of the things that has always worked for you is you got that it's your job to lead just as much as it's your job to help people get mortgages and build those relationships. What does it mean to you to lead?
I think one of the most important things about leading, because I thought about this question, because I knew you were going to ask me, and that was, you have to put your ego aside and kind of live from your spirit on what you believe. Because when your ego gets in the way, you make decisions that maybe aren't authentic or in the best interest of the overall group. It's only in the best interest of you. And I think as a leader, you have to you have to delegate. I think that's you have to trust. But you can't trust other people until you trust yourself. If you're not trustworthy, in other words, if you have a hard time handing things off to people and you can't trust them to do it, then there's something internally that you're not trustworthy for, and you got to fix that, whatever that is. Maybe you're not really organized and you're expecting someone else to be organized, or maybe it is that you're uncomfortable with A or B or C. You need to get comfortable with that before you can delegate that. You need to accept the fact. The other thing is, I heard this one time, and that is, you're only as good as your weakest link. You've all heard that. But if you think about this, you're as strong as a team as everyone's strength. So let's say you're on a team of 5 people, or you're on a team of 2 or 3. It doesn't matter. And the team can be hired help. It could be contract. It could be some of your partners you don't hire but you rely on. It doesn't necessarily have to be an employee. But if everyone has a strength on that team, your team is unbelievably strong. But if it's just yourself and you think you can do it alone, then every single one of your weaknesses come out. But when you're on a team, your weaknesses don't come out because you all cover for each other. Let me give you an example. Back in 1994, I just started my firm, and the earthquake hit in Northridge, January 17th, 1994. And it was like 4:31. For all those in LA will remember that. And things were struggling. Rates went from 6.6 to like 9, which were kind of low then. 6.6 and went up. And I remember that I was really poor at paperwork. And I didn't have any business after the earthquake because all my deals fell out of escrow. But I knew the worst thing I could do was the little tedious marketing things, the things you had to pull every single day. And I remember having lunch with someone at Mel's Diner, and I was talking to the hostess, and she goes, "Yeah, I'm looking for a part-time job. I go to college at the Canyons." I says, "How would you like to work for me and do a few things 3 days a week, 3 hours a day? I'll pay you," I think it was like $8 an hour. She said, "I would love to. I want to know more about real estate." And it was a struggle to afford that little amount. But I wasn't good at those tasks. I was good at going into real estate offices and meeting individuals. I was good at one-on-one lunches. I was good at calling individuals, but I was very, very poor at that one small task. Mm-hmm. So I guess one of the big lessons I learned in life was if you're not good at something, delegate it to somebody, and it could be delegated very inexpensively. It doesn't mean a new employee. It can be contracted out. I know you're a big believer in your schedule, in having someone help you with your schedule. Someone handles my schedule because I would just mess it up and unconfirm the wrong things, right? So find out what it is that you're not good at and build a team around it. I remember there's a few times where I had my sister-in-law was on maternity leave, and she said, "I'll help you. I want to learn more. I'll help you." So I gave her some small tasks, and she was a great help. And so there's things you can do, and I think that's one thing that makes a leader a great leader is you letting other people discover their passions, discover how they could be great on your team, and guide them. And sometimes you let them lead. Sometimes you let them have the wins. In fact, if you let them have the wins more often than not, even if you're helping them find those wins, then the whole team wins. And so a lot of lessons on leadership. I'll mention one thing, Melanie, on leadership. About once a week, maybe twice a week, as a family, we eat dinner, we say grace, we have dinner. But at the end of dinner, our family, my 4 children and I, read a book called John Maxwell's Daily Reader. And it's a passage that's no more than 3 or 4 paragraphs long. And they read it out loud, and we talk about that lesson and how that lesson relates to life. And it's amazing the comments I get from my children. And I'm teaching them to be leaders. But when I hear them read and when I hear them share, I'm learning about how I can be a better father, how I can be better at work, because a lot of the lessons have to do with leadership. And so a lot of different things I've learned over time. But I guess the biggest one is being humbled enough to realize you got to get your ego out of the way, and you got to trust others, and you have to delegate to others in order to lead. You can't lead by saying, "Hey, I want you to do this, I want you to do this, I want you to do this." You lead by finding great people and finding their strengths and seeing where they can really help your company grow.
That's so well said. I love that story about what you're doing with your kids too. That's to me, that's an example of somebody who really values the power of continuing to grow.
I guarantee that my children are the only children in our school, maybe 1 or 2 others, that do that. And now some of them might go to church and get that leadership through church, which is great. I'm sure a lot of them get leadership through their parents. But right there, I have a picture of my 6 or 7-year-old daughter reading it herself, and I videoed it, and it's just priceless because it just shows you can learn at any age.
Yeah.
So, and they fight over who's going to read.
That's cute.
And now we did that. I was chairman of the Chamber of Commerce last year, 2013. And we started every meeting when it was my turn for 15 minutes to talk about state of the chamber from the chairman's perspective. We did a reading. And everyone was looking around the table like, well, why are we doing this? And I looked at them and says, we're all leaders.
Yeah.
And there's some humbling lessons in there.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier how important it is for you to build relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I want to know is, what do you feel really makes your business work better? I know relationships has always been a big part of it, but what would you really credit, like the core of what makes your business perform so well?
Well, I mentioned leadership in people, and we touched upon that. So I think that's one of the cornerstones. So I want to make sure we focus on that, but which we did. But it's Liz. Today is a good day. Today's is a good day. Life is good. And the reason why I show you that is because there's one thing I firmly believe. As the promoter of your business, as the cornerstone of your business, as the leader of your business, your attitude and the way you are and who you are reflects on everybody around you. It reflects on your children in the morning when you get up, or your spouse or significant other. It reflects when you walk in the door. Do you say hi to the person that's opening the door for you if it's a big office building? Do you say hi to the parking lot attendant, who's very important? They're very important. Once you can understand that, how important everybody is you run into in your life, it's critical. But people like enthusiasm. People like it when you have a smile on your face. People like it when you're there to find out more about them and less about you. And so I guess my point is, when it comes to being a promoter of your business, are you scheduling meetings every single day with individuals that can help your business grow, with customers that need your service, or with partners? I say that I'm in a real estate business for loans, and there's not a week that doesn't go by, except the last 2 weeks during the holidays, that I wasn't meeting with at least 2 people a day. Now, I've been doing this 24 years. I have a hard time with new individuals that are entering the business to meet with 1 person a day, or even 4 people a week. I meet with 2 people a day as a discipline. And this is a couple questions I ask, and these are very specific. One is, what's working great? What's working right for you? And then you just listen. The reason why that's a great question is because it opens people up. You don't want to start with a negative one, like, how can I help your business grow? Or what's your challenge? Or, what are you struggling with? No, you want to open it up. Hey, what's working right? What's working great? What's working great if you're a real estate agent? What's working great if you're a financial planner? Melanie, if I'm interviewing you, what's working great? If I'm interviewing a client, what do you love about your last mortgage? What was a good experience about it? The second question I want to ask are, what are your biggest challenges? And the reason why that's really important is because there you'll uncover opportunities to serve. And if there are very few challenges, I go down the path of what I'm pretty good at, marketing. Hey, tell me about your marketing plan. I'd like to hear more. Maybe there's some ways I can help you with your marketing plan. So I'm always asking for questions. So the first one's positive. The second one's, what are your challenges? Not problems, but what are your challenges? That's really important. And then the next one is, tell me what you're looking for in a coach. Tell me what you're looking for in a mortgage professional. Tell me what you're looking for in a speaker. Tell me what you're looking for in whatever it is you do. So Melanie, I'm sure when you meet people, tell me what you need. Tell me what you're looking for, and see what you can uncover there. And then the next question I'll ask, and being in sales, I'll say, if I can uncover 2 or 3 opportunities where I can help you grow your business, would we have a basis to do business together? And that would be the next question I ask. Now notice, these are all questions that have nothing to do with the quality of my service, of my interest rates, of what we do downstairs, if you will, the actual production of getting a home loan done. They're all about who I'm with. The next thing is I will take notes. Really, really important. I can't remember a whole lot, and I will say, can I humbly ask you, now, is it okay if I take some notes? Because you're going to say some things. I want to make sure I write them down. I want to respect our time together. I've never heard anyone say no. I've never even seen anybody be guarded with their comments either. You'll find out things like how many kids they have, why they got into the business, what their passion is for the business. You'll find out what their challenges are, what's working right, because what's working right, sometimes you can build upon that and make it better. But I'll ask them, if I can help you expand your business, if I can help you create more sales, if I can help you, whatever that is that you serve, do we have a basis to do business together? And the last question is, how can I follow up with you? When can we meet again? And if they are completely happy and I can't find any need, then I'll just say, hey, can I check in with you in 6 months or 3 months or whatever that schedule is? And if I'm not so thrilled about the interview I'm doing, I don't know if I want to do business with them, I'll just thank them for their time. I'll send them a thank you note, and that's it. I'll just kind of walk away, because the one powerful thing about this is it allows you the opportunity to interview them to see if you want to do business with them. I mean, do you want to do business with somebody that's going to be very demanding, and they'll tell you that? I've had agents tell me, well, I want to get a hold of you Sunday morning, within 20 minutes. That just ain't going to happen. 4 children, they're my life. It's just not going to happen. Now, if they say, I'd like to reach you sometime on Sunday, can you get back to me? Yeah, that sounds great. I can get back to you in a couple hours when I get out of church, when I get out of breakfast, whatever that is. So it's that interview process. It's that continuously being a promoter and energized about your business, because that's who you are. I guarantee you, when it came down to the greatest entrepreneurs that you don't think were promoters of their business, look at Steve Jobs. What a great promoter of his business, right? Look at Bill Gates. You might not have thought about it. He was a nerd. No, he was a great promoter of his business and hired great people and surrounded himself with great people. So I guess that would be something I just want to impress upon. And be a promoter, smile, and go ask those that you're going to interview great questions. And let me just throw one thing in there. Some people say, well, how do you get meetings? And I'll say, Melanie, let's say, Melanie, you're a real estate agent. Some people think I'm in the business just to do loans. I don't really see it that way. I have 1,000 clients, and my clients need real estate services. My clients need CPA services or tax preparation. My clients need coaching services. With that, and I have a lot of entrepreneurs that are clients, or whatever it is. With that said, can we sit down for a cup of coffee so I can see what a great referral is for you? I say that, I get a meeting almost every time. Or if you're having a hard time, get a referral from a friend, because that third party doesn't want to let a friend down. So a little bit of tips on how to get that meeting in order to sit down with somebody to find out more about them to grow your business.
That's really, the cornerstone of being a relationship person is every connection you're making is about, well, what's a way in which I can help this person? And then if you can help them, great, it comes out of it. But sometimes it's just building your network. There's I think it's a Robert Kiyosaki saying that's most people focus on, or wealthy people build networks. Poor people focus on getting work.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a brilliant concept. And it's actually one of the cornerstones that I teach my clients. It's like, build networks, build relationships with other really extraordinary people, because those are relationships that serve you always. But it starts with taking the time to be the catalyst for it. So I love that about you. You're so good at it.
Yeah. One quick comment. Someone will say, well, I'm not much of a promoter. Someone will come up in front of me and at a speech, and they'll go, and it'll be a gentleman, and I'll say, I'm not much of a promoter in my business. I'm kind of, I don't feel like I'm in sales. And a lot of times I'll say, hey, do you have a picture of your wife? And they'll pull it out, and I go, you had to be a promoter in order to get your beautiful wife. So go out there and sell, okay? In other words, in life, no matter what we do, right?
Yes.
We're always talking and creating conversation, no matter what we do. So don't feel that you don't have that skill, because we all have that skill to different levels. I've known shy individuals that are top real estate agents in the Santa Clarita and San Fernando valleys who were shy, but they weren't afraid to reach out to their friends and then meet some other additional friends through their friends and build a network that way. So don't be afraid. Certainly don't be afraid. There's no reason to be afraid of anything you tackle.
Always a way to play to your strengths. So.
Yes. One thing I'll mention is there is no such thing as losers in life or anything like that. There's just average people and there's extraordinary people. So live to be extraordinary.
Well said. Okay, well, speaking of ordinary, extraordinary, what is one of the biggest challenges that you faced as you've been growing that you had to tackle and figure out.
Yeah, I think I mentioned before, getting out of my way. Getting out of the way on what I do for a living, and understand there's certain things I do very well, and hire to the talents of everywhere around you. As entrepreneurs, we want to do it all. As entrepreneurs, we want to make it happen. We think we can be the cashier, be the accountant, be everything. I don't write my own checks. I don't. I haven't written a check in a long time because I'd probably be late. I'd probably forget. I don't make my own photocopies, not because I'm any better, but because when I go to the machine, I usually mess it up and something gets jammed up, and now everybody's upset because now the machine doesn't work. Do what you're great at, and then hire to everybody else and delegate to everybody else, and get your ego out of the way. And when you win, your team wins. You don't win. It's about us. It's about we. When I send a thank you card, thank you. We appreciate your business. Thank you for the trust in us. Not thank you for the trust in me. Thank you for the trust in us. Even though we're a business where the client sees me only until it goes downstairs, it's about us. It's about we. And I think that would be summed up your team.
So I mentioned earlier that you really have multiple businesses, if you will. You're not just a mortgage broker, but you're very visible. You have a lot of ways in which you're out there making a difference, in which you have been in leadership positions, and I know you've recently taken on the TV show. How do you manage it all?
But you find out what's important in life, I think. And for example, I look at my email, and I'm pretty bad compared to the best, but I look at my email 5 times a day, and some people probably argue that's too much. Some people have it open all day long. And I have someone else looks at my email. There's nothing that's too private that goes in there. Look at my email. So I would think that doing your dollar-producing activities probably is the most important thing. Write down on a piece of paper what you're best at and what your dollar-producing activities are and what you love to do. Those 3 things, what you're good at, what your dollar-producing activities are, and what you love to do. And see where they cross over and do those things. My TV show was more of a challenge. I wanted to interview entrepreneurs on out of the rough, how to get out of the rough into success in your business and personal life. So I'd interview somebody that, let's say it was a coach. You've been on my show a few times. In fact, I relaunched your show after a year, and it got a whole bunch of hits. So a lesson to be learned, when you do something great, just keep launching it and people will see it. And you were a great interview. But it was all about...
Hold on. Stop for just a second. You just said something really brilliant. Oh. I do not want to lose this nugget, Fred, because all kinds of entrepreneurs get so excited with all these creative ideas, and they leap into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and they give up on stuff before it bears fruit. Mm-hmm. And what I heard you just say is, don't stop doing something. Keep doing it until it works. And then when it starts to work, keep doing it. Don't walk away from something. That is such a brilliant nugget for our listeners to take away. Yeah. And so many people don't use that advice. So I just had to call that out because it was really good.
We've talked about the bright, shiny object. I have two assistants to keep me in check. Fred, no. We need to finish this project. Or Fred, if you really don't want to finish this project, it needs to be taken off because evidently you're not interested. And I'll go, oh, wait a second, I'm interested, but I just got distracted. Mm-hmm. So certainly that. But my TV show, I think we've done, I think we're on our 100th episode and probably 400 interviews now. And the key to it was making you look good. Melanie Benson so the title will be Melanie Benson Strict on Success Connections. Make sure I get that right. Did I get that
yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll put the title, comma, what the topic was. It doesn't say Fred Arnold. It doesn't say American Family Funding. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with you looking great. It has to do with me interviewing you. It does not Fred Arnold, the mortgage guy. It's Fred Arnold, host of Out of the Rough. And so, Melanie, can you give me 3 tips on how entrepreneurs can get out of the rough and into success when first starting their business? And we talked about that. And so I've done these interviews, and again, it reached my passion, what I love to do, because I had a radio show before then, what I love to do. That was one of them, which was really, really important. And it made my interviewee look great, so I can in turn say, if you know anybody that could use mortgage loans, would you consider referring me? Or in my case, we're growing an organization. Do you know any mortgage professionals you've done a loan with that you can recommend to me? And that's how you're able to get things done. I can interview anybody in town and get to know any CEO in town by just putting their company on TV.
Well, and it's a credibility booster. Talk about being an industry leader. You focus on doing the things that allow you to expand your influence, your credibility, and your, as a relationship builder, your ability to put people in a place where you can highlight them over and over and over again. That, to me, is one of the keys of being an industry leader.
Yeah, thank you. And it's about that. It's about giving back. Figure out a way to give back. Figure out a way to get involved. Figure out how to make your great customers that you want to get more business from look great.
Yeah. But, and again, going back to something that you said, when you spend more time doing what you love, I remember back in the day, you continually looking for ways where you could speak more.
Yes.
And yet you didn't want to have to be away from home very much.
Right.
Well, my belief is when you stay committed to being in your genius and doing the things that you love, you may not have the answer right away. You eventually figured out, hey, if I start this TV show, or I think it was actually started as a radio show and then morphed into a TV show, that you can actually find a way to use the thing that you're good at, that's your genius and that you love, and that will allow you to continue to put those building blocks in place without having to do what the industry or what the model of the world says it has to look like. So you got to do both.
Exactly. And you and I know, I don't want to travel 200 days a year. Yes. I want to be with my children as they grow up. And so I found a way to do that and live my passion, still serve mortgage clients. And so it's very focused.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I don't know what optimization means to you, but to me, optimizing means that you figure out what, that idea of small hinges swing big doors. Mm-hmm. Have you found something that it's like when you figured out you got to do this really, really well, and then it can exponentially impact the business or exponentially impact the way your business runs seamlessly? Have you found that piece of optimizing in your business?
I don't think I found it because I think it's a continuous project with every business. We have a meeting every Monday downstairs that we started a while back, and we run through every loan that we have going on, and we talk about challenges we have with every loan that's going on and opportunities and successes. But we're always asking our team, can we do it better? Whenever we have an escrow that maybe wasn't as smooth or maybe something got delivered a little bit later, how can we do it better? When someone else would make a mistake outside our organization, how can we do it better? How can we have caught that? When a salesperson, including myself, makes a mistake, and the team downstairs will say, how could you have caught that? How could I have caught that? How could we make it better? I think the most important thing is continuously looking and continuously asking what you can do better and being humbled enough to be able to take criticisms. One of the most painful things we do every year, but one of the most rewarding, is we'll hire a coach to come in and speak to our team and say, hey, it's anything you want to speak about the two owners. We're not owners, we're branch managers, but we're entrepreneurs within our organization. And one of the biggest things they do is what could Fred and Fred do better as leaders of your organization? What can they do better in your organization to and you hear some humbling things like be on time more, or be more present, or have more time for us. You'll hear some things and it's like, wow. And I think that's probably the biggest thing is how do you make that small change asking others? How do you make that small change being humbled enough to receive positive criticism? Being humbled enough to realize that other people have some ideas to make your company grow or make your organization grow.
You know what I just heard in all that is the optimization is being willing to take in what's not working and be committed to figure out how to make it work better. And you have a lot of different avenues for doing that. You ask your clients, you ask your team, you ask your industry, colleagues. You're constantly listening for how can I be the best version of me as a leader, as a father, as a as a colleague, as a referral partner, whatever that role is in the moment. I truly think that is something that's very under asked. Many people are afraid to change. They're afraid to hear what isn't working. And so they kind of live in their little vacuum. Yeah. And I think that's a great thing to optimize.
Once you realize you figured it all out, you no longer have.
Sage advice, Fred. Sage advice.
Yeah, exactly. Here's another one I love. Once I realized my father had all the right answers, my son realized I didn't have any.
And you probably get to have that conversation with your son all the time.
I would tell my younger son. My older son gets it now. But no, really, if you think about those two things, is once you figured it out, you figured it out. You no longer have figured it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's all changing all the time. All
Yeah, and you stop growing.
Exactly.
Yeah, my most important thing is you stop growing once you think you figured it out.
All right, well, you've thrown two really good nuggets at us. Do you have a favorite mantra or quote that is really an inspiration for you?
Yeah, it's the most important quote I have, and it was from Zig Ziglar. I heard it probably 15 years ago. If you help enough people achieve their dreams and goals in life, you'll achieve whatever you want in life, whatever it is you're trying to get. And I truly believe that. And it starts at home. Mm-hmm. It starts about the dreams and aspirations your children have or your significant other has, dreams and aspirations your employees or partners have, and the dreams and aspirations of those closest to you, helping you build your business, dreams and aspirations of your customers. Mm-hmm. I think once you do that, you're going to take off. You're going to do all right, as long as it's genuine, of course. And sometimes it takes us a little bit mode, and you have to be humbled a little bit in order to get into that space.
Yeah, well said. I love that quote by Zig Ziglar. I always have. And you really are a living, embodied example of that in action.
Thank you. And I'm working on it every day. We talked about that earlier, working on getting better and living from the spirit and getting rid of your ego and being humble.
You got anything exciting that's next for you on your journey this year?
I think we're going to do a few more. We're going to open up some branches throughout California. The only way to maintain market share right now is as leaders of a Southern California region of a really big company called American Pacific, is expanding market share, because the market, we're not going to be able to do exponentially more deals in a certain area because the sales will be the same, but maybe open up additional offices. So if you're a mortgage professional out there, one that would love our philosophy, if you will, that'd be great. I'm looking to finish. I already wrote one book. I'm looking to finish it. It's just on mortgage lending. I should have one. I know a little bit about it. And so we'll finish that. And then I want to start a second book on lessons I've learned in life and make it into a kind of a daily reader type of thing.
I love that.
Nuggets. One of my friends in the business, Todd Duncan, who's a speaker, wrote a book. I absolutely love the book. It's called, I have it here. I keep it, Closing the Gap. And they're just real small, short stories.
You gave it to me.
Yep. And this is the best book I thought he ever wrote as far as being able to get some nuggets. And they stopped publishing it, and that was great. So I think I'd like to accomplish those, spend some more time with my children and create great memories, and just continue to grow our organization in a small way, because that's the only way businesses are going to survive right now, is to continue to take market share, because our economy is not going to take off at all. The way you're going to be great and the way you're going to grow your organization is to slowly grow it. I heard an interview, I think it was with Jay Leno, and they said, tell me the future of your industry is after he retired. And he said, instead of 4 or 5 guys or gals making $20 million a year, you're going to have a lot of individuals making $300,000 a year through podcasts and through cable and through different ways. Look at your business that way. The huge opportunities. If you had a dream of being an author, go write your book. Go to the beach and start writing your book. If you want it, whatever it is you want to do, dreaming big, you can do it. You just got to decide to do it. And so I want to share that with you.
Thank you. So I'd love to let everybody know how they can catch your episodes of Out of the Rough. I mean, it is a local TV. You can catch it here live on cable, right? Here in Southern California.
Exactly. We run every day on SCV TV, so channel 99 Uverse 20 on Time Warner. But if you go to Out of the Rough channel on YouTube, you'll find probably 400 episodes, quite a few episodes. And or just Fred at fredarnold.com. If you just go there, call me. Be happy to guide you. If you need some inspiration on how to start a show like this, call me. Or have Melanie hold you accountable. But my personal cell phone is 818-612-5626. 818-612-5626. Give me a call and I'll let you know how I did it. And I was humbled when I started. I didn't think I could do it, and I did.
Yeah, thanks for sharing so much of your wisdom and insight today. You truly are. You are one of the people I look up to in our industry. Somebody who, your heart is so in the right place, but just the way you show up and develop relationships, it's been a real beautiful thing to watch. You truly are a living by example kind of guy. So thanks for being here and sharing some of that with our listeners. And I'd love to hear today, as you're listening in to Fred and all of these great insights he has on leadership and making an impact and building relationships, what stood out for you? Is there an aha moment? Go ahead and share it in the comments below. If you're listening in on one of the stations, iTunes or Stitcher Radio, you can head on over to melaniebensonstrick.com on the blog and find our interview with Fred just by searching there for Fred Arnold, and tell us what you think. And we'll be back again next week with another great episode. In the meantime, I want you to think about, what do you need to be willing to do more effectively so you can get more power out of your business and out of your life. Bye for now.